Welcome to the Innovation and Compliance Podcast, part of the Compliance Podcast Network. Join us every week as we talk with industry innovators who are making compliance to help business run more efficiently and at the end of the day, more profitably. Here's your host, Tom Fox.
Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back for another episode, and you're in for a real treat today because I have with me Tomas Suros. I would say Tomass. Tomas is the Chief Solutions Architect, Practice Automation at AbacusNext. And it's a fascinating journey that Tomas has taken, but also the innovation that AbacusNext brings to both the legal field and the compliance field. So Tomas, with that somewhat long-winded introduction, first of all, welcome and thank you for taking the time to visit with me today.
Absolutely, Tom. Good to be here.
So I had the chance to look at your legal background in preparation for the podcast. And frankly, it is so unique that I would really like you just to share a few minutes about your path after law school and how you ended up at AbacusNext.
You bet. The short version starts with my path. I attended law school in the Bay Area right at the time when an internet boom was in full swing. So, not only was I learning typical contracts law and intellectual property law, which was my focus at the time, but also we were applying these kind of traditional concepts to how these laws would be applied, when the internet really has no jurisdictional boundaries, or at least at the time, how do you apply, certain provisions of a contract? So that was extremely interesting to me. So even in law school, I had this path where, timing is everything. The actual kind of growth, the exponential growth of the internet and all these companies that were availing themselves of it was really my focus. So that was kind of, what I did in law school. Right out of law school, I worked for Pandora, which is a streaming radio entity online. They were doing some really interesting work with technology and being able to kind of provide recommendations, right, in a meaningful way. And all you need to do is kind of log in and stream the music that you already like. So that was my, my first kind of step or the toe into the technology of law and how that practice of law could focus on technology. And then long story short, I practiced law for a number of years and kind of found my footing there, but always had a lean or real true interest in technology and how, individual attorneys, how businesses, and even kind of compliance was focused now on how you could leverage technology. So I ended up with a tech company, a software company here in San Diego. I've actually been with the company about 15 years. So, I've seen the before and after of a lot of kind of evolutions and revolutions. And what I've learned through that path is not only from the practice of law, what the needs are, what the need to kind of protect information, how you communicate with clients, and, from a responsibility or professional responsibility standpoint, and the confidentiality and privacy. I, expanded that into the development of software tools for lawyers. And then especially over the last 5 years, helping attorneys and other firms, accounting firms and whatnot, who have very high compliance standards as far as data protections and even the data that they acquire, amass, and need to protect and store for their clients. We've now taken the idea of using software tools to help, protect that information and have efficient, access to it. We've moved that into a private cloud environment. So that's really what I'm focusing on now, which is the ability for a firm of any size to be able to move their business and all of their data and processes into a private cloud environment. And then Abacus Private Cloud is the company that can provide that type of environment where, encryption, education, and even, from the ground up, the actual technological, the IT architecture of the environment is compliance focused. And I think what that really helps our clients have is certainty, the knowing that this is our best practices. This is what we should do, right? And conversely, understanding what not to do. But understanding that when you move into a private cloud, the encryption is already there. How data is held, who can access it, and to what extent. A lot of those controls are literally built into the architecture itself, which kind of flips the script. So it's no longer individuals who are uncertain or have incomplete information and don't know exactly, if what they've been doing, their SOP for years and years actually is compliant or what aspects of it. And as we bring kind of technology, as you're using your phone, as you're using, different devices, as a remote workforce becomes more and more helpful, right? And it seems to be where everyone is leaning now, just for the convenience, the flexibility, and really kind of the quality of life benefits that come from it. Those are some of the things that we've been thinking about. And when we designed our private cloud and rolled it out to law firms, accounting firms, and other businesses, we really designed it to help answer those questions immediately, provide an assessment and do some cybersecurity training so that the compliance need is met. And then the next step in working with clients is being able to kind of leverage technology for efficiencies and to save money and to, gain some flexibility as far as when and how you work in that environment.
So I heard a couple of things in there that are very important, both for law firms, both for compliance practitioners and corporations as well. One thing I heard was data protection, and you clearly spoke about encryption and the tools available around that. But the other thing I heard, frankly, was document security. And if I could take that a step further, anytime a company or a law firm is representing a company that's under investigation, literally the first thing the regulators, the government, the prosecutor asks is, are your documents secured? Can there be document manipulation? And if you don't have document security, you lose a lot of credibility in the regulator's eyes. So it just strikes me that this solution that AbacusNext has and you're advocating really works on multiple levels.
Absolutely. And I think that's spot on. And I think that the real concern or the fear is that you won't be able to answer questions. Because if there is a compliance audit, let's say, or there's, a breach or potential breach, the questions that come in quickly in that environment are daunting. So what we've done, once again, is to kind of, especially with documents, document management, we ensure that each document is encrypted, right? And using our software tools, who can access it and what they can do. Is it read access? Can they delete it? Can they create their own version of it? And is each version saved in time? So there's that type of audit trail. That's one of the kind of key components of document management. It's more than just where are our documents? That's certainly one aspect of it. And, where do I find them? How do I access them? How do I share them? All of those are kind of built into our software tools. But even underlying that, having multiple redundant versions, having, backups that are verified regularly, and then an audit trail of all those different kind of touch points to documents and the overall concept of document management. So it is security, but one of the things we focus on is making sure that access to documents is a controlled and known situation, and then how you transfer, how you share that information. And a specific example would be, instead of using the traditional model of, I'm going to send you an email and I'm going to attach a document as an attachment, a file attachment. We're really shifting away from that because there are a lot of issues that can come up. Like you can start to type in a message and your autofill can send it to the wrong person, like an Allison with one L versus an Allison with one or with two L's. That's something that came up last week. And then using more like a client portal where, you're my client. I can share with you exactly the information that I need in order to provide the services. But the portal and its encrypted kind of collaborative workspace is where you can share information with me and I can share information with you, where there aren't actual multiple copies of the same documents being distributed or transferred around either accidentally or even somebody could hack them or spoof an email and acquire, a document in that way. Instead, a portal is a more secure way of providing that access and the collaboration with built-in protections that I don't think are available if you're using kind of traditional models where you're sharing things and, hoping with best intent that it gets to the intended recipient. So that's just one example of some of the tools that we've used that are part of our, suite of services. But document management as a whole and then that client portal are really kind of advanced ways to collaborate, share, and provide services with protections for data privacy built into them.
So one of the things you also talked about was bringing greater efficiencies. And here, what struck me, Tomas, was on your website, under your solutions listed, you list several different other applications that you help law firms and businesses with, compliance professionals, for greater efficiencies. Is that part of the AbacusNext solution or suite of solutions as well?
Absolutely. And one of our goals is to kind of create integrated, comprehensive solutions. What we've done is we've, over the past 5 years, acquired different software tools that help you with, client relationships management, right? Managing leads, being able to kind of capture information, perform conflicts of interest check in a very secure and fast way to make sure that, that you're able to take on a new client business, and then have that information flow through workflow automation where reminders and deadlines and tasks are being automated, or at least the notification and kind of the tracking of them is automated. All the while, that single bit of information that you may capture and then need to protect for a client is never in multiple, locations. Our goal is to have a software suite of tools where you collect the information accurately. If and when you need to make a change, you can do so. But that information flows through into your calendar system that helps you manage your time and activities, through document management, as we touched on earlier, that client portal aspect, and even kind of secure encrypted email for communication purposes. And then on the output side of things, we have other tools that help you use that same information, protected, encrypted in one database, to flow through and automatically populate documents, whether it's letters, contracts, whatever the types of instruments that you may create. That's our concept of an overall solution where the data, the information that you store, is pertinent and easy to capture. But once it's stored, it's one system. So the same kind of protections flow through the entire kind of, life cycle of the services that you provide for your clients and the information that you need to collect and protect from them or for them within that same environment.
Within the context of providing information for your customers or even people like myself, I have to say I was impressed by multiple resources on the AbacusNext website, and I took a look at several of your blog posts, and one that struck me was how to gain a competitive advantage with CRM. Could you maybe speak a few more words about how AbacusNext can help the customer relationship management process for law firms or others who may not be as advanced at that?
You bet. So here are a couple of things that we can help with specific to CRM. Is what we found is there's the competition for new business, new clients, or referral business, and repeat business. The competition has increased because on the internet now, or if somebody who's seeking services is inundated with potential law firms, let's say, or accounting firms, or anyone that you're looking to, provide a service to you. So that fierce competition means that leveraging technology like CRM tools allows a firm that maybe isn't as large and doesn't have a dedicated either marketing department or, risk management officer or even, CIO. We have tools that help firms have a secure online presence. And I say secure because not only are you soliciting your services and new client business, but you're able to provide during that communication the assurances that you're aware that you're compliant. You have, systems in place to protect their information. And by being proactive in that way, the actual kind of, client relationship can start on that secure footing. And also we have tools where built into your website, for instance, is an automated, efficient way for a client to reach out to you, to share with you what they're looking for, what their current need is. So all of that information can flow through into a client relationship management system where clients are known immediately. They're known by profile, they're known by need, and the firm's ability to respond very quickly and efficiently and with the appropriate information. So I think that kind of client relationship management is not only the efficient capture and the ability to kind of present to a client this kind of awareness, this understanding that we as a firm understand that, your information is vital for us to protect. You present that information, collect the information, and then be able to use it in a meaningful way. So the ability to kind of turn around, offer, a consultation or offer, the next step or information that is helpful to that client immediately. We found that to be, using these systems, a very efficient way to better compete in an environment where there's a lot of noise. And it seems like there are a lot of, firms and businesses that are offering similar services. Using a true CRM tool is a great way to, efficiently and accurately capture information and then be able to use it and be able to kind of pull that information into a system where, ideally you then promote them. And once they become a client, there's not redundant data entry and they don't feel like they're needing to restart, the conversation over and over. So those are some of the helpful ways that a true CRM system gives a competitive advantage, and firm that's out there now, even a firm of a small size can compete with firms of a larger size because it's no longer a resource constraint when you're leveraging these tools that gain some efficiencies.
Well, Tomas, unfortunately, we're near the end of our time today, but I was wondering if anyone wanted either more information on AbacusNext or to perhaps contact you directly to follow up with anything you've talked about in this podcast, how could they do so?
So a couple things, and I appreciate the opportunity. The first way, easy, AbacusNext.com is our website. There's a lot of great information in there. You certainly can, look up the certifications and things like that we have to our private cloud systems. Also, our suite of software tools are nicely outlined. So if you're looking for a solution, whether it's cybersecurity based or it's compliance based, or even you're looking for efficiencies that some of our software tools can bring, that overall solution is something that we deliver to clients every day. So AbacusNext.com is the best resource for that information. And then if you're interested in contacting me directly with any questions or follow-up bits of information that you'd like, my email is tsuros@abacusnext.com. So, that's a quick way to contact me, and I'm happy to continue, this conversation with any of the listeners going forward.
Tomas, this has been a fascinating exploration of not simply AbacusNext and your services, but really how areas tied that may appear to be tangential to anti-corruption compliance really tie directly into it. So I wanted to thank you, and I greatly look forward to continuing the conversation.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time.
If you're a compliance professional looking for a convenient and effective way to fulfill your continuing education requirements, go to fcpacompliancereport.com/courses and choose from 4 hour-long training packages that will keep you current. That's fcpacompliancereport.com/courses.